This was next level. It was amazing. I feel absolutely different, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I was able to let go of so much limitation and fear and expand on an energetic level. I just feel so open and so aligned. And I've been able to let go and free up so much more potential. And so now that I've cleared that space out, I can tell that I'm going to be able to download, contain, and maintain a much more significant imprint in this world.
Oh, we're going to be talking about your potential, all right, today. Welcome, everyone, to the April 15th episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. Hey, I got one more light I get to turn on. We are going to be talking about teleportation today, and you are going to experience it in today's show. So welcome. Say hello to me once you get here. I'm Emily Harrison, founder, director here inside the Akashic Academy. I train visionaries, thought leaders, and difference makers across the planet how to exit the world of ordinary mind and tap into your superconscious intelligence. This is the realm of infinite possibility. It is the realm of all information, all intelligence. Our brains are wired to this field. And I get the privilege and pleasure and honor of reminding you in this lifetime, of teaching you what you have not been taught. And we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about teleportation. Perhaps you have seen on the news. Now, I don't actually watch the news very much, but I got a glimpse of it the other day. And maybe you have seen the clips of the FEMA official who has talked about teleportation, and he's being ridiculed. Eyes are rolling. We're going to talk about what teleportation is today, how you're already doing it, how you can do it more effectively, and we're going to do it together here. So send some love, likes, hearts across the screen. Help me blow up the algorithms. If you are tired of waiting for the world to change and you are ready to allow that change to emanate through you, we are going to activate your superpowers today. That's what the Akashic Academy is. Welcome to ground zero, to base camp, y'all, of Jedi training so that you can access your highest potential. What does that mean, to access your highest potential? It means you are going to more effectively be able to heal yourself of your own trauma. You're going to be able to tap into your unique creative genius and co-create a life that you really want to live. That changes the entire planet. We are responsible for the change on the planet, and it's going to be fun today, y'all. So say hello once you get here. I'm also going to be taking questions. In addition to teaching more about telepathy, I'm going to take questions for you all. If you have been curious about the Akashic Records, that's where I get my intelligence from. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you about teleportation and how we're already doing it, these are insights, aha moments that have come to me working in my Akashic Records. If you're new to the Akashic Records are the realm of consciousness that holds all information, every single detail of our past, our present, all possible futures. So when I say our, what I actually mean is each one of us individually have our own Akashic record that holds an account of your soul forward and backward through time. In addition to human beings having Akashic records, animals have Akashic records, crystals have Akashic records, planet Earth has an Akashic record, your legacy project has an Akashic record, your business, okay, relationships have an Akashic record, and we are all naturally wired into this realm to be able to get instantaneous soul level wisdom, guidance, and clarity. So here's the caveat, is all of this information, it's recorded from the perspective of unconditional love and zero judgment. Neutrality, that is true neutrality. It can also be known as the mind of God. If you grew up in church like I did, in the Bible, this is known as the book of life. And the cool thing is, when we learn to tap into it, we can activate our ability to self-lead, to lead ourselves, to get instant wisdom and guidance, understand our purpose and potential here on the planet. We understand all the challenges that we have. Your challenges, the stuff that's tripping you up in life, the karmic loops that you're in, these are your teachers here to teach your soul to grow. And learning how to interact with these teachers, our challenges in a different way, man, the Akashic Records will get straight to the point with you on what your soul needs to learn so you can learn it and stop looping. So what happens when you stop looping? You have more energy to tap into your unique creative genius. All right? Good stuff. I'm glad y'all are here. I want you also to know, this is super cool. I'm going to invite you into the mystery, into the story, the power of the Akashic Records. Hello, Terry. I'm glad you're here. And what's up, Joseph? Y'all say hi like Joseph and Terry and let us know where you're tuning in from. If I haven't shared yet, I'm coming to you live from the High Sierras in Reno, Nevada. And there is powerful, potent vortex energy that flows through this part of the nation. You are getting not only a transmission of the Akashic Records, I've opened the records. So as you come into this space, you are coming into an encounter with your higher self, your innate knowledge. Pay attention to what drops in for you in this broadcast today. This is where I want to invite you into the mystery. Okay, when I work with people one-on-one in the records, I tell them 90% of what happens when we're training in the sacred classroom, when we're in the records together, 90% of what happens will happen afterward. Why? Because you will think about things that you heard here. You will think about your life differently. And as you think about your life differently, your life changes, your timeline shifts and changes, your future trajectory changes because everything is formed by our thoughts. All right, so I want to invite you to stay till the end of this broadcast because your higher self has led you into this space. Your intuition has brought you into here. What's up, Glenn in Ontario? And it is my sacred intention to hold the frequency and hold that space that your life gets to change because of something that you heard in this broadcast today. You get to look at your life differently. You get to change things. You're getting your power back. Okay, so do not miss whatever your soul brought you in to experience. I'm also going to teach you how you can dive into your own Akashic Records. All right, so stick around. We're going to hang out about for the next 30 minutes or so. We're going to jam in the records. All right, I also want to share with you all some context for today. So I'm going to put up here on the screen this CNN video. You guys see it? Okay. Let me know that you can see my screen. Type yes in the comments if you can see it. And I got to go over here to start her up. Okay.
I spoke to President Donald Trump on the phone about teleporting. Yes, teleporting. If you're wondering why, here's why.
We had a teleport incident, 2 of them. The car lifted up and took me where I was going. And I ended up at a Waffle House like 50 miles away from where I was.
That man who last year said he teleported to a Georgia Waffle House is Greg Phillips. And he's actually one of the most powerful officials at FEMA overseeing disaster response across the entire country. When I told President Trump what Phillips said, he asked me some obvious questions like, what does teleport mean? And was he kidding?
All right. No, he was not kidding. And we're going to talk about what teleportation means. Has anybody out there teleported, by the way? I actually have a personal story that I would love to share with you guys about teleportation that happened at Mount Shasta. So I teleported with a group one time. You may or may not know this, but I take advanced seekers into Mount Shasta, which is the root chakra of the planet. It is also an interdimensional gateway. Okay, so all kinds of interesting anomalies happen in Mount Shasta. And when you know the different vortexes and their specific energy signatures, you know how to download and how to work with the intelligence there in those spaces. Okay, so I take people into Mount Shasta every year over Lionsgate. Actually, I'll show you. Let me show you one more quick video. This is at one of the heaven on earth vortexes. Okay, these are light codes that come in up on one of the heaven on earth vortexes. There's no camera manipulation there at all. Woo. Activating light codes. Okay, there are lots of different portals in Mount Shasta. And one year after we had visited, there's a standard route that I take people on for activation. After the standard route, there was an optional excursion to one of the heaven on earth vortexes. Okay. Now, It wasn't necessarily like a hilly hike to get there. It was arduous though, y'all. It was like 2 miles in direct sun. We're up in the mountains on railroad tracks and lava rocks. Okay. And this might surprise you, but many people who go on this excursion with me are 60 plus. All right. So I'm taking a group on this extra excursion to one of the heaven on earth vortexes. We're going to do a ritual to anoint, to baptize in the soul purpose. Fun stuff. All right. It's an arduous trip. Seriously, on the way there, you all, it was so challenging, proved so challenging that my mom, who has come to all of my retreats, she just looked at me and she's like, I think we should go back. And I'm like, as a leader, I'm like, crap, what do I do? We continued on. It took us about 2 hours to make it to the heaven on earth vortex. We experienced the sacred ritual there. And then we started the trek back. And y'all, we went around the first turn on the trail coming back. And literally after that first turn, we were back at the starting point. Oh, I got chills through my whole body. It took us 2 hours to get there and 20 minutes to get back. All right. And we all teleported together. And I am not rolling my eyes about this experience. Not only have I had personal experience, but many of my colleagues have had experience as well. And the truth is, you've had experience as well too. All right. So we're going to talk about teleportation today. I got notes here for us. Not only are we going to talk about it, we're going to do it. But first, I want to set some context. All right. One of the biggest problems is, we don't know what it is. All right, so let me reframe what teleportation actually is. Teleportation isn't just physical matter disappearing and reappearing somewhere else. It is it's the instantaneous shift of awareness, identity, and energetic position within the quantum field. Okay, let me read that to you again. Here's what teleportation is. It's the instantaneous shift of awareness, identity, and energetic position within the quantum field. You don't move your body first, you move your consciousness, and then reality reorganizes around it. Okay, does that make sense? It's about moving your consciousness to a different point in the time-space continuum, and then reality rearranging around it. How fast that happens depends on a lot of different things, although it happens. All right, let's talk about why. Glenn says, yes, good. Thank you for letting me know this is making sense. Y'all type yes in the comments. Let me know this is making sense. If you have questions, ask questions. And blow up the algorithms. Leave your comments in there, all right? I also want to talk about why this power is hidden. Okay, because this is where we are going to psychologically liberate ourselves. I'm going to show you where they've hidden the power in plain sight. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the psychological wiring of humans. We are wired for deep safety. Okay, when we are wired for deep safety like humans are, that creates constraints. Okay, the first constraint is the fear of ridicule. So if you get ridiculed for your beliefs that are fringy, or your thoughts or your curiosities even that are fringy, or your experiences, you're going to keep quiet. It's going to cause you to play small. Okay. If something sounds too out there, people shut down and then they don't explore it. So you're right there at the door, but because you're afraid of ridicule, you don't move forward. Authority conditioning. If I didn't learn it in school, it must not be real. Can anybody relate to this? Okay. And then there is a groupthink survival pattern that says if your nervous system equates belonging with being correct. Groupthink programming. Okay. And we know that our nervous systems are miswired and that we need to heal and rewire these things. But right now, the collective human nervous system is wired to equate belonging to being correct. And we all need belonging. I get it. Right? But when the mainstream is ridiculing our power and encouraging us to diminish it, of course we're going to shut off our powers, right? The most powerful abilities are hidden, not by secrecy necessarily, but by dismissing them. Say yes if any of you have felt dismissed in life and you shrunk back to play small. All right, let's talk about, let me just point out the impact of that problem is that we let a few take positions of leadership and influence the collective in misdirection. We are so powerful, y'all. We are creating reality. So when we think differently, when we get curious about what our gifts and skills are, there's incredible impact. I want to talk about the impact of this right now. The impact of the problem of your skills being hidden from you. Look at your life, look at the world. That's the impact of it. Let's talk about the impact of the solution, though, because I'm a cheerleader here, y'all. Okay, let's talk about what happens when we all wake up to this. Okay, teleportation. Let's go back to the definition. It's the instantaneous shift of awareness, identity, and energetic position. So if it's an instantaneous shift of identity and we all shift into where we take our power back, and many people begin doing this simultaneously, what do you think happens? Okay, what happens is reality stops becoming something that we react to, and it starts being something that we are actively co-creating. So if you don't like what you're seeing out in the world, if you don't like aspects of your life, you want more depth, you want more connection, you want to be more in the mystery, we got to take responsibility for that. All right? Here's what happens when a lot of people start co-authoring reality at the same time. Fear timelines become far less potent. Oh, I just got chills down my whole body. Y'all, fear-based timelines lose momentum. Do you want the fear-based timelines in your life to lose momentum? Good. Old systems built on unconscious agreement dissolve. These paradigm systems and structures that are keeping us enslaved right now, we've agreed to it unknowingly. It's been an unconscious agreement. Are you ready for the unconscious agreements that you made in your life to dissolve? Say yes, please, if you are ready. Okay, I flip my notes here. All right, so the truth that most people miss. Here's a warning about what we're going to do today. You guys do you want to do some teleportation? Do you, Kev? Do you, Glenn? Let me know in the comments. There's a warning that comes with teleportation too. There's a big responsibility that comes with this. Just because you can shift reality does not mean that every version that you choose for yourself is going to be the one that's most aligned. You get free will. Sebastian, Felix, Jean-Felix, thank you for being here and being ready. All right, so I highly encourage you to study, to train, okay? Understand things like cause and effect. Do things that clear and heal yourself of trauma. Do your shadow work, do your tapping, work in your Akashic records. Because just because you can shift reality, how many people have ever shifted reality in a way that turned out not to be maybe what you bargained for? You still learn a lot along the way, okay? But the question what I want the question to become for you, not is, can I manifest this? Of course you can manifest. Of course you can co-create. We're all doing it anyway. But is this the reality that I want to continue for myself and for the planet? Okay? Because every identity that you reinforce within you, it's not just you. You are wired to the architecture of the entire planet. So you are shifting the planet as you do this work. You're broadcasting so much more than you think. Y'all, here's another thing. Your nervous system, by the way, your nervous system is not private. When you walk into a room, not only are you emitting a really strong frequency, but you can pick up on other people's energy as well. Okay? Your coherence influences others, theirs influences you. When we show up in fear, it feeds the shared fields of fear. Okay? When we show up in certainty, in safety, in presence, it feeds that. So what do you want to feed? Okay, you want to remember, it's not just the fact that people feel your nervous system. Humans are connected through mirrored neurons. We're also connected through emotional contagion. That's actually what I talked about before, where you can ripple peace, you can ripple fear, you can ripple whatever you want to ripple. That's what we do. Ripple positivity, rip it, Kevin. Okay, and then we also talked about the social patterning, how we are conditioned to be wired into belonging, which inhibits us if we want to explore some fringy stuff. All right, so let's talk about some framework of teleportation. I want to share with you how you're already teleporting. Emotional teleportation. You wake up grounded, then one thought drops you into anxiety, scarcity, or comparison. Okay. You didn't travel there. However, your entire reality rearranged around you so that you experience this. Yep. Is it making sense? How about memory and imagination? You think about a past memory and your body responds now. So your nervous system is playing it out like it's actually happening to you. You're not in that moment. However, you just transported yourself to it. Not even moving through the time-space continuum, okay? You just move through time without moving your body. Quantum decision points. The moment you decide, I'm done being this version of myself, everything else around you starts reorganizing. All right? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to shift identity right now. I want to choose a collective identity shift. So we've got, here are your choices, y'all. We've got A, a more peaceful earth. B, more integrity and leadership, or C, a planet where humans feel safe being fully expressed. So we're going to go with whichever one the majority of y'all want. And we're going to teleport to that point in the future. Not only is this going to help each one of you individually, each one of us individually, it's going to help the planet. All right. So let me start seeing some A, B's, and C's coming up here. Let me know. Let me know what you want. I said we were going 30 minutes. I can see that we're going to go a little over. Lucky us to stay in the frequency a little bit longer. All right. So we've got a C here. We've got a B. We've got a safe, fully expressed. Was that C? Go back up. Yep. C's fully self-expressed. Okay, we got 2 B's and 2. Wait, do we have 2 B's and 2 C's? Wait, we got 1 B and 2 C's. All right, C's win. We are going to hold. Oh my gosh, I feel like I hear myself echoing in my head right now. This is going to be great, y'all. And by the way, all the different areas of our life are going to get an upgrade here. We can't pick a wrong one. They're all interconnected to bring forward the highest divine outcome for ourselves and the planet. All right, so we're going to go with activating. We're going to teleport to a timeline where we are all experiencing a world where we are safe, feeling fully self-expressed. All right, I'm going to begin to activate some energy here in my root chakra. Guys, I want you to start breathing into the root chakra. All right, we're going to go into our teleportation here. We're going to feel into the version of ourselves that already live into that world, that already live in the world where you feel fully self-expressed. All right, so I want you to begin to slow down your breathing. If you're driving, don't do this while you're driving. Come back. Okay? And I want you to begin to, with your intention, call forward that timeline where you live on a planet where you are free being fully self-expressed. And I want you to tap into, how do you relate to others? Okay, and envision that, feel that right now. When you are fully self-expressed, how do you relate to others? I'm doing it with you. We're reprogramming ourselves and the planet right now. What feels normal now? Now that you live in a world where you are safe being fully self-expressed, what feels normal to you? Maybe going out and socializing where you had social anxiety before. Maybe that feels more normal and good, and you can experience yourself as a part of the group, a part of the community. Oh, Glenn says, love for all that is. Yes. That's how we relate to others. The light within me salutes the light within you. All right, let me ask you this. In this world where we feel safe being fully self-expressed, what's no longer tolerated? In your world where you feel fully self-expressed, what is no longer tolerated? Ridicule and judgment are coming up in my world. Kevin says, doing everything, anything in complete safety. Yep, Kevin, judgment. We're on the same wavelength there. Glenn, yep, negatives. Or, seeing through the negative lens of everything. Judging people before we get curious, including ourselves, that's part of the fracture. I call it the original fracture of the human psyche, which is where we are socially conditioned to see everything through the negative. And if you see, or your perspective is everything through the negative, you're going to be screwed. So we got to flip and see it through the positive. And then when you see it through the positive, you are empowered to create everything that your heart desires. It's amazing. Glenn, realizing that all is unity and all is one. Yes, that is miracle consciousness, holding the frequency of miracle consciousness. That is one of the activations we will be doing in Mount Shasta this year, in one of the secret vortex locations, a heaven on earth vortex, is going through a secret ritual that conditions the human body, mind, emotions, and spirit to hold the frequency of miracle consciousness. So good. All right. One more question as we are creating this new reality together. In this new reality where you are fully self-expressed and you feel safe in this reality, what becomes easy for you? What becomes easy for you? The first thing I heard was asking for what we want. Asking for what I want. How about for y'all? What becomes easier for you when you tap into this world of full self-expression and safety? Safety is so good. Okay, so now we're moving into the part here, guys, where we're going to stabilize this in our body. So I want you to start breathing slower. Yes, Sebastian, I feel you. Kevin says creativity. Start breathing slower, guys. This is where we're resetting the nervous system. We're imprinting, consciously imprinting more creativity, more peace, more speaking our truth. Breathe nice and slow. Relax your body. If you're noticing that you're holding tension anywhere in your body, relax it. The body, physical body, and the relaxation of your body, the agility of your body is so important. It's connected to symbolically what it means to be flexible, to be open. Okay, to be relaxed. In order to receive our highest good, we've got to relax. Your shoulders to tense all up to your ears like this, y'all. Go get a massage. Or go get one anyway. Even if your shoulders are nice and down, go get one. Okay, open your chest too. Imagine your heart opening as we are reprogramming ourselves. Good. Okay, there's one more phase here after the reprogram, and that is you got to plan for success. So who are you now in this new identity? And I want you to think about one way that you get to act from this new version of yourself. Okay, so one conversation you get to have, one boundary you get to set, one project you get to work on, one moment of courage that you get to have. What is it? Get clear about it. Rehearse it now. Get specific about it and rehearse it in your mind. Okay, this is the work. We are not waiting for the world to change. We are the mechanism through which it changes. And I hope that you've made that commitment to show up and to take that action from the space of your records today. As you're doing this work, you are entering the space of higher mind. I love it. Thank you all for being here. All right. That's what I have for you on teleportation today. I want to shift gears a little bit now and get curious about what's alive in your field. Where are areas that you feel challenged? If you're curious about the Akashic records and you have been wanting an Akashic record reading, this is your chance to get a mini Akashic record reading. So type your questions in the comments and send some love, likes, hearts across the screen. Give yourself a pat on the back for being here and training in this way. Not only training yourself, but helping to activate the rest of the planet. So while y'all are getting your questions typed in there, I'm going to share one more thing. If you have enjoyed this training, you want to keep training, I want to show you how to do that. I have a free intuitive development training here for you. Your intuition is your ability to know something instantly, and we are all wired with it. Okay, very specifically, we are wired with intuitive senses, psychic senses, extrasensory perception. Similar to how we've been ridiculed for the psychic crazy fringy that's happened to us, the parts of our body that are naturally connected to it, we also haven't been taught about these senses. Okay, so these are your clair senses: clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairaudience. You're going to learn about your 4 major clairs in this intuitive development video. This is a training that will teach you in 15 seconds a day how to activate these muscles. And once you get these muscles activated, you're going to be able to eliminate overthinking and second guessing. You're not going to have doubtful decision making. Things get crystal clear in your life. And by the way, that's freaking fun. Having opportunities, like multiple opportunities. Imagine multiple opportunities that you would like coming into your field. Okay. And then as you tap in and explore and get curious about them, the one that's the best for you becomes obvious, and you are so motivated to move forward without fear or resistance. Dude, it's so fun. We're really channeling our highest potential. So if you are interested in continuing the training, I want to invite you into the intuitive development training. You will find that link in the description, along with, did I put it in the comments? I can grab it for you real fast. Hang on. Oops, back here. It's this one. Duh, the one that says intuitive development. All right, and let's tap in and get some questions. Y'all, Raj, Peaceful Penguin, Cara LaRue. Yes, thank you for lighting up my chat box. All right, Rajaroni. I love you, Raj. Raj says, should I continue my travels or start to find a base again? Okay, so it's interesting that you said base, because the first thing that the Akashic records are bringing up into my field is the idea of our Jedi training, like arriving at base camp and being ready to train in our powers. So for everybody, that is a symbolic get to base. Find your base camp and start training. It's like it's a balance of we're going to need it and we're going to be really happy that we have it because it's fun. And the veils are getting, here's how I'll say it. The veils of resistance are getting thinner and thinner that are going to allow more and more of our creation. Okay. All right, Raj, let me tap back in and see what else the guides would like to say about should I continue my travels or start to find a base again. Whichever one has the highest vibrational frequency to you. Okay. So the idea of continuing travels right now, it's got a looping energy to it that the guides are saying it would be valuable to pattern interrupt that energy, because why you originally started doing it, it's complete in serving you in that way for now. Travel will always be one of your great teachers though, Raj. And right now, like travel can, and I can notice how it does this for me too. And one of my big things that I'm working with right now is recognizing like where I'm actually sending mixed signals to the universe. My little oopsies. Okay. I love to travel as well. And I also find that there'll be times in my life where I'm traveling a lot and I start to get bratty and tired and snippy in ways because it requires bandwidth to travel. All right. So I say to the universe, I want to travel. I want to travel. I want to travel. And then the instances that happen along the way in traveling throw my nervous system off and I get bitchy and cranky and I go into old loops and old versions of myself. All right. So when we notice that something that we've put in our, that maybe once was serving us is no longer serving us, we want to pattern interrupt and just take a step back. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to find boundaries. Like I talked about setting boundaries for myself. Once I realized that, I was able to say, oh, you know what? Actually, I can notice feels good to me is traveling once a month. All right. And now I want to figure out, okay, what does it look like to create the bandwidth and the stability in my life to travel twice a month? Okay. All right, Rajaru. Thank you, guys. Give Raj a hand. Send some love likes hearts across the screen. Peaceful Penguin. Let's, oh, thank you. Please message that like button if you appreciate this content. Yes, please do light it up. Thank you, Peaceful Penguin. I appreciate you. Cara LaRue, is there a block to selling my Playa del Carmen condo? Yes, and I learned this in my Akashic Record training, that the way we phrase the questions is really important. There's nuance to it. So yes, there is resistance in that. And it's almost like if we have to ask the question, it's yes. And if I ask the question from the state of resistance, we're going to get an energy of resistance back. And I want to open that up a little bit. So is it okay if I change the question to, let me actually ask the guides to help me formulate the right question that's going to make the shift in your perception, Kara, that's going to make the difference. Okay. What step do I need to take next in order to easily sell my Playa del Carmen condo? Okay. Is that okay if we shift it to that? I'm feeling an assumed yes. So I'm going to keep going here. All right. So what the guides are saying is gratitude around the energy of this place. Because right now it feels like, okay, I got to sell it. I need to sell it. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Cool. Right. So it's feeling like it's that energy around it. And if you shift, and so that's like the fundamental energy that's sending out the frequency. So what you want to do is you want to be in a state of gratitude that you've owned this place for as long as you have, and all of the wonderful memories that it's brought you, and or opportunities to learn and grow. Because just like I said, that oh, look at the synchronicity. Rajaru is just there. I love synchronicities. Okay, if you're just tuning in, we are working on, let's see, Kara's question here about what's blocking selling her place, we've shifted the question to what are the next steps I can take to sell it with ease? Because that's what you really want, right? And that's the part about the nuance of the questions, is that not only do we want to take full responsibility for what we've created, but we also frame the question of what we really want. And what we really want is to sell that thing, right? So what steps do I need to take to sell it with ease? So shifting from feeling like you're blocked and like you got to do this, to the gratitude, to the lessons that have been learned there. And then open up your heart to invite, like we did in this broadcast. You actually can go back and do it again for that purpose if you want to, Kara. I would actually, the guides are recommending that you do that. And anybody else who has an individual way that you want to use that teleportation, go back and do your own individual one. Okay. Open the heart and invite them in. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Activating our power here, which is absolutely amazing. May says, was I ever on a water planet? Yes, I do see you on Sirius. Sirius B is the water planet, I believe. That feels like the one that's coming in. Thank you for asking. She whom remembers one. What is the purpose or relationship of me and my sister? All right. So what the guides are saying, like you're mirrored teachers, and then they showed me twins. And I don't know if you're like actual twins or if you are on a really, really similar soul timeline of what you're learning together. Although they are showing me twins. And they're also saying that you're great teachers of each other. And it feels like the kind of, you guys refine each other well. And what I'm seeing in my mind is you guys, it's like you're in the mountains somewhere in a sacred place and you're fencing each other. And it's like I don't want to say like you are arch rivals, but not in a way that you full on like want to kill each other. You just know that the other one is a formidable opponent and you're both warriors. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay. Whew. That's a good one. Got the chills coming in there. She who remembers, thank you for being here today. Sebastian, in what ways am I blocking myself? Okay. So again, let's shift the question around this. And when I teach people how to read their own Akashic records, that's something that we work on. First, I teach you a really easy method of how you get into the records and you start practicing it. And then we got to work on the things that everybody has challenges with, which is one, how do I know this is real? How can I trust it? Two, what happens if I get blocked? And the first mindset shift that the Akashic records always invite is recognizing blocks aren't even real. They're Maya, the illusion, because everything is actually whole and complete. We know that. We also know that we're playing a video game where the construct is separation, so we don't see everything as whole and complete. Which, by the way, interesting about seeing, the original beings, the Lemurians, that were light beings that came here to this planet, and they came here to experience being God in and goddess in physical form and experience that with our senses, because we don't have a physical body in all of the different realms, we come here to experience our senses. Okay. And when the light beings first came here, their frequency was much higher than the vibrational frequency of this plane. So think about like being underwater in a pool and the gravity and right. So they went through a process to become coherent and to vibrate in alignment with this plane. And that's when their physical senses started to develop. Although as physical eyes started to develop, the interesting thing is they knew, because they were higher in frequency, they had more spirit. And that's actually what their mission was to bring spirit consciousness into the physical realm, into this biology where we get to experience it. However, they knew that the eyes would see the Maya, see the illusion. Your physical eyes will see the Maya, see the illusion, and not to trust that. So they always deferred to their third eye. Although after many different experiences here on the planet where I'll call it a fall from grace, where we've wiped our civilization, we've wiped history, not all of it, but we've done a wipe and a reset and like a start over. We've started to pull back these memory or this knowledge of who we are. And so as that knowledge receded, the pineal gland, the third eye that used to be on the outside, receded back into being a pea size between the two hemispheres of your brain. So I invite you into a new perception that everything is whole and complete. And Sebastian Jean-Felix, I like saying your name with a little French accent there, half French, half Southern. The guides are also inviting you to reframe whatever challenge or wherever you feel blocked, like whatever evidence is presenting real in the Maya, the illusion, reframe it and ask it what it's here to teach you. And then you begin working with it. Okay, good stuff. Let me know if this makes sense. All right. I love it, love it, love it. All right, let me see. What else do I want to share with y'all today? Oh, I talked a lot about Mount Shasta. Okay, let me show you this one more time. Yes, this is what happens. All right, so here's the deal though. We have an application button, I think, in the description. I need you guys to email me. I forgot to take that out of the description before we started. So I'm going to put my email address up here on the screen. Email me at emily@theakashicacademy.com. And in the subject, put Shasta and let me know that you're interested in coming. There are prerequisites, but if you want to come and train in these advanced Jedi skills, if you want to activate in the frequency of miracle consciousness, it's happening this year on Mount Shasta. Now, I've had some tech glitches with the application process. So please email me if you are interested. And if you've applied recently and you have not heard from us here at the Akashic Academy, please take this a moment and email me and let me know, because we did discover a tech glitch this morning. And Shasta, y'all, I don't know. She keeps some of us out sometimes because we're not ready. So if your application got thrown out in that batch, sometimes you got to be persistent. So make sure that you reach out to me so that we can get you plugged into the process. All right, because there is an application process and a prerequisite process that is required for the advanced training on Shasta. Mount Shasta, towering in Northern California. Yeah, it is the root chakra of the planet. And when you know how to properly harness and channel these energies, so when we take our clear intention of our soul mission into that energy of Mount Shasta, what happens is your entire life will align from your root, from your base, to the timeline of your choosing. That's why I said, remember back when we started this work here today, there's a responsibility that comes with this work, recognizing cause and effect. Make sure what you are carrying into these different vortex locations, because you're more powerful than you realize. You're broadcasting a channel. Make sure it's what you want. So you get a little hand holding through that process, and you get the support of your Akashic records to bring through clarity on what your true soul mission is in this lifetime. All right. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. If this broadcast has served you, share it out. The more of us that tap into our power, the faster the reality that we are all experiencing gets to shift. And I know that there are some powerful, creative humans out there. I'm excited to share this space, this planet, the version of the new earth that we're all really here. I mean, you talk about the mission. Your ass ain't here by accident, by the way. You are definitely here on purpose and you're part of it. So thanks for finding yourself at base camp this morning here at the Akashic Academy. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Hello, I wanted to talk about my experience with Emily and my Akashic Records reading. First of all, it was incredible, and she opened my mind to so many things about me and my calling and my personality that I could tune into and tap into. One of the main things that she uncovered for me is that a lot of the goals I've been setting have been very safe, and that I haven't been really stretching my mindset to think about the ultimate like scary goals, because a lot of the times I will put up a safe goal that I know is achievable, and that gets me even right underneath that. So I was able to really think outside of the box. I started really thinking beyond what I thought was possible with my goals, and I've been doing this in every step of my life, and it's helping things really quickly propel into becoming a reality. So many things have become possible just because I was able to stretch my mindset beyond what I think is possible. But the main thing that has changed for me is I'm able to really manifest things a lot quicker, and things have been just rapidly happening in that way. So Emily is insanely talented. She will zone right in with you and help you really identify the things that are holding you back.